Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. We have the pleasure of having one of our team members joining us, Savannah Dill. She is our Power Platform consultant, and she's going to be presenting on Power Up series webinar, Power Apps, continuation of our Power App series. And just as a reminder, we are recording this webinar and we will post it to our on-demand webinar library for you to review again or share with anyone. And you can find our library under our resources tab on our website at inovia.com. And we do encourage you to ask questions during our presentation. So please feel free to type them into the questions box and we will get them answered at the end of our session. So now I'm going to turn it over to Savannah to kick off our presentation.
All right, hello everyone. As Angie said, welcome to the Power Up series, the Power Apps edition. If you missed it, we recently did a Power Up series Power BI edition, and we will continue to work through the platform in the next upcoming year. All right, getting started. I know some of you in this call have worked with me before. For those of you that are new, my name is Savannah Dill. I'm a Power Platform consultant here at Inovia. If you would like to contact me, my contact information is on the slide. Some other notable credentials that I hold. I am 4 times Microsoft certified, all revolving around the Power Platform. I am also the Indiana Doug chapter leader. So if you are in Indiana or around Indiana, we do have meetings. Our next one will be in Indianapolis. I have been awarded a few different awards as well. So I'm very driven and motivated to speak on behalf of the community for all things power related. All right, and the last notable thing is I run a blog. It's called Not a Pickle blog. I typically just make posts on LinkedIn with fun infographics relating to primarily Power BI and Business Central. All right, getting started today. This will be, the Power Up series is intended to be kind of a high-level overview of all the apps while diving, surface level. We're not going to get too crazy into the weeds here, but I hope this webinar provides you with enough information to at least feel comfortable getting started with Power Apps. So today we're going to have a little bit of an introduction on the different parts of the Power Platform. I like to mention those because they often are better together. Once you get a hold of one, it is very easy to integrate them into each other to further expand upon your solution. Next, we are going to do a little bit of an introduction to Power Apps, including covering what data you can connect to, the differences between a Canvas app and a model-driven app, licensing. And then I have some resources to set up a free Power Apps environment that Microsoft provides if you are interested in testing the waters with Power Apps. This will be followed up with a demo within Power Apps, and then we can talk next steps. And if you would like to connect with me on LinkedIn, I'll have that information as well. All right. So, like I said, I'd like to introduce the different parts of the Power Platform, starting with Power BI. Power BI is my favorite. If you know me, it is something that I am engaged with every single day. It is a business analytics tool that allows you to connect to your data and visualize it in unique and interesting ways. It breaks the bonds of traditional reporting by having dynamic features. So if you click on one thing, the whole page reacts and vice versa. Power Apps is what we will be covering today. Power Apps allows you to create low-code applications. This is perfect for someone like myself who doesn't have a computer science or development background. Prior to coming to Inovia, I actually knew no code, nothing of this realm, and Power Apps is really cool because someone like myself who is a citizen developer can now create beautiful apps that you would use just like on your phone. Power Automate is another low-code solution that the Power Platform offers. It's all about automating tasks that tend to take up time within your average workday, whether that is moving files from an email into a folder or a workflow approval. There are many things you can do with Power Automate. The newest part of the Power Platform is called Power Pages. This has replaced Power Apps portals, and it is all about website development. A little bit of a technical difficulty, but there we go. All right, so now we're going to move on to the introduction to Power Apps. In this next section, we are going to talk about how you can begin to understand what Power Apps are, the different types of Power Apps, and also explore those links that I talked about in the introduction. So starting off with what Power Apps is. Power Apps is a low-code application development tool. You can access Power Apps in many different forms, primarily desktop, mobile, and tablet devices. So that is something to keep in mind as you begin to develop apps is you must think about how it will be consumed. Because Canvas apps you can build responsiveness into, but it's not native. And as we see in our demo later, Power Apps will typically ask you whether you will be viewing this on desktop or mobile device. All right. Another thing with Power Apps is you do not need a traditional programming language in your reservoir. You don't need to know C++. You don't need to know anything like that. Power Apps actually uses a language called PowerFX. PowerFX is kind of like Excel formulas, if you are familiar with that. And if not, it is something that's very easy to pick up. Like I said, citizen developers use this language every day, and it enables them to create the functionality within your app that is not just drag and drop. One way that you can think about Power Apps is as if Excel and PowerPoint were mashed together into one engine. I say it is like Excel because of using PowerFX. That's how you're going to create your functionality. And PowerPoint because the interface truly is a drag and drop experience. So whether you're bringing in shapes or images, buttons, it is all drag and drop, and then you just kind of choose what happens when you click on things. However, if you do know some traditional programming languages, the Power Suite, including Power Apps, can be extended by using that language. Power Apps can also be extended by other parts of the Power Platform. One example of this would be to add Power BI tiles into your app, or perhaps you would like to have a form that when you hit submit, it saves the information that you put in to SharePoint. That can be done by implementing a Power Automate flow that is kicked off when you hit a submit button. Another thing to note is Power Apps is built on the foundation of Dataverse. Like most of the Power Suite, Business Central, etc. It is an extension of that. Dataverse can kind of be used as a data storage solution to put all of your sources information in one place. However, there are native connectors as well to connect directly to your source. Speaking of connectors, there are currently 500 plus built-in connectors. And the great thing about the connectors is they're not just Microsoft native. There are connectors such as Google Drive, which would be a direct competitor, but it's still nice. You can connect to things such as Google Sheets, Business Central, Microsoft Office applications, and plenty of other external non-Microsoft native applications are available. If you decide to move forward with Power Apps, I would really recommend you either look at a list of available connectors or go into Power Apps yourself and see just all of the connectors that you could connect to. With connectors, they are typically plug and play. I will show what this really looks like in a bit, but the beauty here is you select your connector, you enter your credentials associated with that connector, and then you have access to the underlying data. In the example I will show a little bit later, I will be connecting to Excel through OneDrive for Business. All I had to do is input my credentials, and then I had access to my files. If you don't see a connector that you are looking for, custom connectors can be built. There are a lot of third-party repositories out there that kind of provide this, but you can also have a developer create a custom connector that typically exposes an API. This could be true as well for on-premise data sources if they are already not listed. When it comes to the types of Power Apps, there are two main types of Power Apps. There is Canvas apps and model-driven apps. Canvas apps, we'll start there. Canvas apps are my favorite apps because I come from a user experience design research background. Canvas apps are mostly internal facing. They are meant to be applications that help your business grow in one way or another. And the thing that I love about Power Apps is it allows for complete UI control. That means you can make the UI as simplistic or as complex as you would like. You can make it as baseline or beautiful as you would like. So that is the main reason I like Canvas apps, because I love designing. Canvas apps also allow multiple data source support. And like I said earlier, you can add responsiveness based on device. Power Apps will ask you what type of interface you'll be consuming on, and then you'll build the app with that frame. However, if you decide to use it on multiple sources, responsiveness can be built in based on device. However, you will have some more complexities there. Model-driven apps are next. They will also be primarily internal facing, to help improve business process. The difference between model-driven and Canvas apps, though, is model-driven is considered data-first design. It is meant to kind of be like a database or dashboard or an administration panel. And because of this, you have limited UI control. Typically, with model-driven apps, you are taking the user through a process. A business process, whether that's you enter a form and then you move on to the next step, and then you input that data. I kind of like to think of an example of using a model-driven app as like HR onboarding. You enter all of your information and you go through all the steps. With that, you will be leading the user through a process that's driven by data. With model-driven apps, it is built on the foundation of Dataverse, so you would have to connect your data sources to Dataverse, and that would kind of be your underlying data set with rows and columns. The good thing about model-driven apps, though, is they are responsive depending on whatever device you choose to access it on. All right. So that is the quick overview on Power Apps, what it is, what it can do. If you are interested in getting started with Power Apps, I wanted to touch on licensing a bit here. So with Power Apps are included in most O365 licenses, most enterprise licenses to be exact, and also business premium license. Most of those include a version of Power Apps or another. However, if you don't have those licenses, that is all right. You can add additional licensing in one way or another, whether you're going through a partner like Innovia or an external partner. Power Apps does have some premium features, and some of those do require additional licenses, and that can be added on per app or per user, depending on which one you would choose. Depends on how many apps you have built or how many users you wish to use the app. It would depend on what would make sense to you as a business financially. All right, so in the beginning, I talked about if you wanted to test the waters, there are a few different ways to do that. I see that Angie did put some links in the chat. The first one would be for the Microsoft 365 developer plan. And what this does is it gives you a free developer license with a sandbox environment. And this kind of enables you to try the whole Power Suite. So this is a really great plan if you want to just try out the Power Suite, see its capabilities, and see how they can really extend your business. Another thing you could try is the Power Apps Developer Plan, and this gives you one free premium license for Power Apps. This is also, just for development and testing purposes. However, it is a great way for you to be able to access the premium features associated with Power Apps, and for you to see if you enjoy the idea of Power Apps. All right, and then some resources I wanted to quickly mention before we jump into our demo would be Udacity. So Udacity has a course with Microsoft for Power Apps, and it is 100% free. This is a great course just to get your feet wet, to further understand Power Apps, to go over what we've talked about today in more depth. We also have Microsoft virtual training days where Microsoft experts kind of go through in more detail what each of these are capable of. Also, with the virtual training days, typically they give you a discount on certifications if that is something you're interested in pursuing. Microsoft Learning Paths are probably the most traditional way to learn. It's a module-based platform that walks you through from A to Z what Power Apps is, the different types, and the different features within each of the design studios. Here at Innovia Consulting, we also offer basic or personalized training based on the different components of the Power Platform, whether it's Power BI, Power Apps Automate, or Pages. So if that's something you're interested in, you could reach out to your customer engagement specialist or support@innovia.com. All right, that being said, we are going to explore Power Apps a little bit today. All right, so now you should be seeing my screen. And this is what you come to when you first log into Power Apps. So Power Apps can be created in multiple ways. You can start with data, which is what we're going to do today in our short demo, but you can also create a blank app. Typically, if I'm creating something from scratch, if it's personalized, I will start with the blank app and not from data, but that's just because I have the background in UX and UI design. So I like to make things very personal and very pretty. However, if you're looking for an application that just does something basic, starting from data might actually be your best choice. So that being said, we are going to start from data. In this case, I'm going to start from an Excel file I have. So I'm going to click on Start from Excel. All right, and then on the left-hand side here, you'll see your connectors. Because I have already connected to many sources, I have some connections already established. The one I'm going to use today is OneDrive for Business, and how I got there is I hit New Connection, and then I just searched for OneDrive for Business, and I entered my credentials. Because I've already entered my credentials, I'm going to just click on OneDrive, and here's all of the folders on my computer. I'm going to go to desktop to find my Excel file, which will be flooring estimates. And then it will have me choose a table. So if this Excel file had many sheets in it, I would choose from one of them. In this case, my Excel file only has one tab. So I'm gonna hit that and then hit connect. And then Power Apps is actually going to create an application for me. This is really cool because I don't have to do anything. I literally just hit create and it loads and creates a fully functional app for me. So if you don't want to take the time to design, this is a great option. I'm just going to go ahead and skip some of those and just show you around the design studio. So this is the design studio, and this is the app that Power Apps made for me. Before I jump into the different components of the design studio, I'm just going to hit play and show you. This is the app that it created. My file type was flooring estimates, so of course these are all going to be different types of flooring, whether it's carpet, hardwood flooring, etc. But it has full functionality. I could create a new item from here. If I wanted to dive into one of these, like this this carpet, it has a picture, it has a price. If I wanted to update any of this, I could just hit edit. And let's say instead of the price being that, I make it 8.5. I hit save. All right, and that price is now reflected in my app, but it will also be reflected back into my Excel file because that is the direct connection. You can also search for items. That is all built in. Let's maybe search for Lush. Yep, and anything with the category Lush or description Lush will be there. If I go back, it will take everything away. So this is a great option. Like I said, if you don't want to spend the time to create an app, you can let Power Apps do it for you. On the left-hand side here, you'll see a few different navigation options. These are going to be all of your screens. In this case, we have our main screen, we have our detail screen, we have our edit screen. This is great. You can click through them and you can begin to modify the app that Power Apps had built for you. You could use this as a starting place. If you wanted to, say, add in additional pictures, you could upload here, and you simply then just drag and drop into the application. If you want to add a new page, you would just hit new screen, and you could start from blank. So you could really make this app something beautiful. But as far as components, there are a ton to explore. I'm just going to click on this. For example, this is called a gallery, by the way. A gallery is kind of any list in Power Apps. But just to give you an idea of all the things that are possible Power Apps, you can insert labels, you can insert so many different things, toggle on-off buttons, regular buttons. You could input this pen input. So if you're for any reason creating like an invoice tool, you would then be able to have someone sign and upload it to wherever that would be. But yeah, this is a little bit about Power Apps. Like I said, going from nothing to something in a few seconds is fairly incredible. If you wanted to spend more time doing this yourself, of course, you could start from blank as well. But it's always great just to, have a starting place if it's something you are getting into. All right, if you are interested in connecting with me, like I said, I am on LinkedIn quite frequently. So feel free to scan the QR code I have or just search my name. I would love to connect with each and every one of you. I also share content on my blog. All right, and I'm not seeing any questions in the chat currently. If anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in now. Else, I'll turn it back over to Angie for closing comments.
All right, thank you, Savannah. I hope everybody got some great takeaways out of that. That was very well informative. Doesn't look like any questions have come through. So if you do have any questions later on, please let your customer engagement specialist know, or you can contact Savannah as well, and we will get them addressed. I will be sending the recording out to everyone, so you will have this as a reference, and if you want to refer back to it. But I also want to let you know that we do have some upcoming events on our website page, and that's innovia.com/events. And you can also check out our training workshop page at innovia.com/workshops. We have a variety of workshops to fit your role, so check out the ones that are right for you and your team. And if you have not heard the latest Innovia Conversation podcast, we have a library of episodes for you to listen to, and you can learn more on our podcast page, and that's innovia.com/podcast. So browse through our selection and subscribe so you'll get notified when those new episodes air. And we do have our customer conference coming up in May in Scottsdale, Arizona. The Innovia Customer Conference is a free event for you to attend, so check out our conference page to learn more and register for our event. And you can also register for Dynamics Con Live. Both conferences are back-to-back at the same venue starting on May 21st. So register now so you don't miss out on these two great events. All right, well, thank you again, everyone, for joining us. And if you're watching on demand, we thank you for taking the time out to join us. Thank you, Savannah, for presenting, and we look forward to seeing you soon on another Innovia webinar. Take care, everyone.